रिकॉर्डिंग के अंदर रिकॉर्डिंग।
Hello, dear souls. This is Radhika Gopinath Das again. Today we'll talk about the life of a soul. According to worldometers.info, today's world population is 7.8 billion people. 233,000 people came into the bodies today, and 98,000 left their bodies. If you look at it from a Bible's perspective, there is a difference between spirit and a soul. The body is considered like physical dust. There are two quotes there. And spirit is a unique concept. It is supposed to be God's breath. And when you put these two together, it becomes a soul. So there are many permutations and combinations in the world today of what people think as the soul. And the primary reason for the soul, according to the Bible, is to wait for the judgment day, dead or alive, and you are resurrected from the dead. And upon resurrection, these individuals will become souls again with body and spirit. So pay close attention to that, with body and spirit, which means liberation with a body. According to the Bhagavad Gita, Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavanam jara tata dehantara praptir dhiras tatra namuhyati. Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, as the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. So key points are, our soul is continuously passing. The body is changing every second. Cells are being born and cells are dying, but the soul is there. And then at one point we have boyhood or girlhood, if you will, and then to youth, to old age. And at the point of death, the soul similarly, just like it passed from boyhood to youth to old age, it goes into the next body. And that is called death. A sober person, a intelligent person will not be bewildered by such change. What is the size of a soul? According to the Bhagavad Gita, it is 1/10,000 the tip of a human hair. So human hair is 100 microns. Like if you look at the mesh on the right side, each of the mesh opening is 234 microns. Smoke of a cigarette is 2 microns. Red blood cell is approximately 12 microns. So soul is smaller than that, and we will show it to you. So there is, if you look at nanotechnology, there are a lot of things that are shown to be very, very, very small. Pollen grains are 10 to 20 microns. Flour that you use to make pastries with is 50 to 100 microns. Human hair is about 100 microns. So if you divide 100 microns by 10,000, because it is said soul is 1/10,000th the tip of a human hair. So if you divide that, it comes to a very small number, which is 1/100th of a micron. So if you look here, 1 micron is the size of a bacteria. 1/10th of a micron is virus. And then if you keep going, this molecule is the size of a nanometer. So that's pretty small, pretty small. So again, here are some more examples of what a micron is. So if you look at household dust, that is 4 microns, cat dander is 1 micron. And a nanotube, which is the basis for nanotechnology made out of carbon fiber, is 2 nanometers, which is approximately the size of the soul. So very, very small. So does the size of the soul change by the body? We have to see. If coronavirus is alive, and it is, and it affects people, it has a soul in it. So the size of a soul needs to be smaller than that of a virus. So size of a virus is about 0.01, 1/100th of a micron. which is the lower bound for the size of a virus. So soul is smaller than the size of a virus, which is tending towards size of gas molecules, individual molecules. So there are billions of molecules in a square inch of gas, and that is just one molecule. So how do you measure something so small? We use something called as a micrometer. So there'll be a very thinly calibrated scale on which this micrometer is a rotating thing, a thimble. As you rotate, one full rotation is 1 millimeter, and you have many segmentations on that rotating thimble. So that will help you understand how small the measurements are. So pay close attention. Soul is smaller than the virus. It is tending towards the size of a gas molecule or a nanotube. Is the size of the soul the same in each body? Actually, it is. Whether it is the big giraffe or the small birds flying next to it or the lion that is attacking the giraffe, the size of the soul is exactly the same. And what is the purpose of the soul? Why did the soul come here? As we said, 7.8 billion is the world's population. So what are the souls supposed to do? According to Swami Prabhupada, the founder of ISKCON, every individual soul is eternally a servitor. When one is fixed in the understanding that he is the part and parcel of the Supreme Soul, and that his eternal position is to serve in association with the Supreme Lord, he becomes self-realized. The position of rightly understanding oneself cuts the knot of material attraction. Hridaya Granthi Vedanam means it cuts the knot. We have a hard knot in our heart. The knot is made out of pride, anger, envy. So we need to cut this. So due to false ego or false identification of oneself with the body and the material world, one is entrapped by Maya. Maya means something that doesn't exist, but it makes us feel that everything is good. I'm growing old, but my mind will tell me that no, it is okay. You can just put a little bit of patchwork and live forever, which is not true. Nobody lives forever. But as soon as one understands that he is qualitatively the same substance as the Supreme Lord, because he belongs to the same category of the spirit soul, and that his perpetual position is to serve, one attains Atma Darshanam and Hridaya Granthi Vedanam, or self-realization. So service to the Supreme causes us to understand who we are, the soul, and what our goal, which is to cut the hard knot of attachment, pride, envy, greed, and all the other negative qualities. So when one cuts the knot of attachment to the material world, his understanding is called knowledge. Atma Darshanam means to see oneself by knowledge. So my dear souls, let's all cut the knot of material attraction. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Until next time.
Oh, Chirag already responded. So he liked your answer. He says, thanks, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. So what do you think about the video?
The question there, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
You mentioned there that the soul is 1/10,000th of a micron or something like that. Is that also in some scripture?
Yeah, it is there in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Everything that we cover is from scripture. We're not trying to manufacture anything. I'm just...
I understand that, Prabhuji, but I don't know, so that's why I'm asking.
Yeah. So this is the PowerPoint from which I made that video. So this is what I do. I collect things. My next video is about socio-emotional architecture. Okay. So anyway, I will not reveal the secret yet. So let's go to Bhagavad Gita. So we are the size of a gas molecule and we have so many desires. I want to be king of the planet. I want to control America, like that. right? It's not possible, but we somehow think it is possible. Okay, so we covered until 10:14 previously. So let's go to 10:15. Did we not cover 10:15? I think we did, correct?
Prabhuji, we are in 11th chapter, Prabhuji.
No, sorry, yeah, 11:15. This is 11:15, not 10:15. I missed.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Okay, Arjuna Uvacha
Arjuna Uvacha.
Pashyami Devam Stava Dehe
Pashyami devanstava devadehe
Sarvans Tata Bhuta Vishesha Sangan
sarvanstata bhuta vishesha sangan
Brahmanamisham Kamalashanastam
brahmanamisham kamalasana
Rishimsha Sarvanurugamsha Divyan.
rishim shasharvanuragam shadivyan.
Okay, Rekha, read translation purport.
Translation. Arjuna said, "My dear Lord Krishna, I see assembled in your body all the demigods and various other living entities. I see Brahma sitting on the lotus flower, as well as Lord Shiva and all the sages and divine serpents." Purport. Arjuna sees everything in the universe. Therefore, he sees Brahma, who is the first creature in the universe, and the celestial serpent upon which the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu lies in the lower regions of the universe. This snake bed is called Vasuki. There are also other snakes known as Vasuki. Arjuna can see from the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu up to the topmost part of the universe on the lotus flower planet where Brahma, the first creature of the universe, resides. That means that from the beginning to the end, everything could be seen by Arjuna, who was sitting in one place on his chariot. This was possible by the grace of the Supreme Lord, Shri Krishna.
Yeah. So he's seeing Brahma in the body of Krishna. And he's in the topmost part. So he's seeing the topmost part of the universe in the lotus flower where planet Brahma resides. Brahma is called Manasaputra because he doesn't have a mother. He only has a father. His father thinks about Brahma and Brahma is born. Boom. Very simple. But we are not Manasaputras. We all came from mothers' tummies. And the key point is everything could be seen by Arjuna. Aneka bahu daravaktra netram
Anekabahudaravakranetram
Pashyami tvam sarvatonantarupam
Pashyami tvam sarvato anantarupam
Nantam na badhyam na punastavadim
Nantam na punastavadim
Pashyami Vishveshwara Vishwarupam
Pashyami Vishveshwara.
O Lord of the universe, O universal form, I see in your body many, many arms, bellies, mouths, and eyes expanded everywhere. I see you in no end, no middle, and no beginning. Na anantam, na madhyam. What does he say? Nantam means there is no end. Na madhyam, no middle. Na punastavadim. What is tavadim? Tava means your. Adim, beginning. Adi, beginning. Tava. Tava means you. Mama means me. Bhavataha tavanama kim means, oh dear sir, what is your name? Then you respond back, Mama nama Radhika Gopinath Das, or whatever. Mama nama Jaipal, Mama nama Radha, ityadi. So Sanskrit is not very difficult. So Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is unlimited. So everything could be seen. Simple. Kiritanam Gadinam Chakrinam Cha
Kiritinam
Gadinam
Gadinam
Chakrinam Cha
Tejo Rasim Sarvato Deeptimantam
Tejo Rashim Sarvato
Sarvato
Diptim
Ashyami Tvam Durniriksham Samantad
Pashyami
Pashyami
Tvam
Tvam
Durniriksham
Durniriksham
Samanta
Samanta
Deeptanalarka Dyutim Aprameyam.
Deepta
Deepanalarka
Nalarka Dyuditam Prameyam.
Okay, somebody read this.
Prabhuji, can I read?
Yeah.
Translation: Your form is difficult to see because of its glaring effulgence, spreading on all sides like blazing fire or the immeasurable radiance of the sun. Yet I see this glowing form everywhere, adorned with various crowns, clubs, and discs.
Yeah, which means there are many heads. For each head and a pair of two hands, there are crowns, clubs, and discs. So Ananta Vishwarupa, that's what Arjuna calls Krishna in his Vishwarupa, Sandarshana. So this chapter is also called, in Sanskrit, what is it called? I just gave you the clue.
Vishwarupa.
Yeah,
Ananta
Vishwarupa Sandarshana Yoga. Every chapter in Bhagavad Gita is a yoga, form of yoga. Tvamaksharam paramam veditvayam
Tvam aksharam paramam vedittavyam.
Tvamasya vishvasya param nidhanam
Tvamasya
Tamasya
vishvasya param
Vishwasya Param
nidhanam.
Nidhanam
Tvamavyaya shashvata dharma gupta
Tamavyaya Shashvata
Tvamavyaya
Dharma
dharma
Gupta
gupta.
Sanatanastvam purusho mato me.
Sanatana.
Sanatanastvam Purusho Mato Me.
Okay, Sheshidev.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. In the supreme primal objective, you are the ultimate resting place of all this universe. You are inexhaustible and you are the oldest. You are the maintainer of the eternal religion, the personality of Godhead. This is my opinion.
Yeah, so God himself is the maintainer of eternal religion. So whenever there is adharma, yada yada hi dharmasya glanirvavati bharata abhyudhanam adharmasya. When adharma goes up, tadatmanam srijamyaham. He comes because he has to maintain. This is his religion. He has to come and maintain. People will ruin it by creating their own religion right now, like people are doing. But over a period of time, he'll come again and kick all the rascals out and re-establish. You don't have any freedom actually. Religion is his, your body is his, your soul is his. Only this rascal mind is telling I am separate from God. So we have to train and tame the rascal mind and get it under control. Anadi madhyantam ananta viryam
Anadimadhyantamanantaveeryam.
ananta bahum shashishurya netram
Anantabahum
Antabahum Shashishurya
Shashisuryanetram.
Netram
Pashyami tvam deepti hutasa bhaktram
Pashyami Tvam Deeptahutashavakram.
Svatejasa vishvamidam tapantam.
Svatejasa
Patejasa
Vishwamidam
Tapantam
Tapantam.
Pure without origin, middle or end. Right? Again, he said that 2 verses ago. Na antam, na madhyam. So he is saying here, anadi. So there is no adi. Madhyantam. Like that. So he is everything. He is the origin, middle, end. Glory is unlimited, numberless arms. Sun and moon are your eyes. See you with blazing fire coming forth your mouth. Right? So if you look at Vishwarupa, Vishwarupa. See, now they made a Vishwarupa for Devi, Durga. Although Shishaman never showed Vishwarupa. It is coming from only Krishna. When I was young, there used to be a picture where they showed flames coming out of the Lord's mouth. But nowadays, the images quality has gone down, looks like. Right? There should be flame coming out of the Vishwarupa. And now they have Ganesha also showing something. People do all kinds of things, and these three. Anyway, people do so much masala these days. When it comes to religion, any masala goes. But when it comes to your office work or exam, you have to write precise answers. Otherwise, you'll fail. So this is the thing. Look at this guy. He thinks he's God. Right? Yeah, he's saying, I am God. That's why it is to. Srila Prabhupada says such rascals should be kicked out. Then you should ask them to lift the Govardhan hill, right, which is 23 kilometers in circumference, and show the Vishwarupa. Not like put yourself in front of the Vishwarupa. You have to show the real Vishwarupa. So these rascals exist, dime a dozen. For one dime, 10 cents, you'll get dozen people. So anyway, the picture's quality has gone down. When I was young, there used to be a picture which showed blazing fire coming forth from your mouth. Okay, Sheshdev.
There is no limit to the extent of the six opulences of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here and in many other places there is a repetition. But according to the scriptures, repetitions of the glories of Krishna is not a literary weakness. It is said that at a time of bewilderment or wonder or of great ecstasy, statements are repeated over and over. That is not a flaw.
Yeah. So this is interesting because I was looking at my son's homework online, because now everything is online. One of the professors said the exact same thing. You'll find repetition. I'm saying the same thing many times, but that's good because then it will register in the student's mind. The same thing. Repetition of the glories of the Krishna is not literary weakness. We have to do it. Dva prithviyoridhamantaram hi
द्वावपृथिव्योरिदमन्तरं हि
vyaptam tvayekena dishascha sarvaha
व्याप्तं
त्वयैकेन दिशश्च सर्वः
दृष्ट्वाद्भुतं रूपमुग्रं तवेदम्
दृष्टाद्भुतं रूपमुग्रं तवेदम्
लोकत्रयं प्रव्यातीतं महात्मन्
लोकत्रयं प्रव्यतीतं महात्मन्.
Although you are one, you spread throughout the sky and planets and all space in between. O Great One, seeing this wonderful and terrible form, all the planetary systems are perturbed. Perturbed means disturbed. Okay, Disha.
Yes, Prabhu. Okay, purport. Dwa Prithvyo, the space between heaven and earth, and Lokatram, the three worlds, are significant words in the verse because it appears that not only did Arjuna see this universal form of Lord, but others in the other planetary systems saw it also. Arjuna seeing the universal form was not a dream. All whom the Lord endowed with divine vision saw that universal form on the battlefield.
Good. Ami hitvam sura sangha vishanti.
अमी हित्वां सुरसङ्गा विशन्ति
Kechid bitaha pragnalayo grinanti.
केचिद्भीताः प्राञ्जलयो गृह्णन्ति
Swasti iti uktva maharshi siddha sangha.
स्वस्तीति युक्त्वा महर्षि
महर्षिसिद्धसङ्गः.
Wait. Stuvanti tvam stutivi pushkalabhi.
Stuvante Mam Stutibi Pushkalabihi.
Swasti means all peace. Like I used to attend Bhagavad Gita classes when I was very young, maybe 7 years, 8 years old, in Eluru in coastal Andhra Pradesh. And the person giving the class, Pravachak, used to say at the end, Swasti. I remember that now after all these years. Swasti means peace. So peace to all the Maharishis. That's what's being said. All the hosts of demigods are surrendering before you and entering into you. Some of them are very much afraid. The Devatas are little better than us. That they are not pure devotees. So they are also a little afraid of the Lord. A pure devotee is never afraid. Like Prahalad, after Hiranyakashipu kills his material father after Narasimhadev kills Hiranyakashipu, who is his material father, he was not afraid of Narasimhadev. Narasimhadev was very, Ugra Roop. So he had blood in his teeth and tongue. His hands were full of blood and flesh, killing of Hiranyakashipu. Even his own wife, Narayana's wife, Lakshmi Devi, was afraid to go. And she said, Arre Prahlad, you are such a great devotee. You go first, I'll be behind you. So all the devatas sent the pure devotee Prahlad first, and they were all, in the back. Sometimes if you don't want to do something right, we say, Tu jana pehle, or tu jana. We will never go first because we are afraid. We'll always try to push somebody else first. So that's what they did. Devatas pushed Prahlad Maharaj. So Devatas are actually afraid of the Lord because they also have some material enjoyment propensity. If you have material enjoyment propensity, you will always be fearful of the material world. Like people say, oh, what will happen? Corona will come. We'll lose our jobs. That's because they are materialistic. If you are spiritualist, you say Corona or no Corona, I'll just keep chanting Hare Krishna. Right? Any comments on that one? So today, as I was having lunch, my son made a very nice statement. I don't know where he's learning all this stuff from. Definitely doesn't come to my classes. He was saying, depression is due to inability to solve frustration. And I said, wow, what a beautiful sentence. So we can never underestimate anybody. He's saying the depression is due to inability to solve frustration. So people come up with all these nice words, sentences. Okay, Disha.
Yes, Prabhu. Just the purport, right? No.
Yeah.
Yes, purport. All the hosts of demigods are surrendering before you and entering into you. Some of them, very much afraid, are offering prayers with folded hands. Hosts of great sages are perfected beings, crying, all peace, are praying to you by singing the Vedic hymns. Purport: the demigods in all planetary systems feared the terrific manifestation of the universal form and its glaring effulgence, and so prayed for protection.
Yeah. Rudraditya vasavo ye chesha sadhya. Vishwe ashvinau marutaschom chosmapadscha.
Vishwe Ashvinau Marutaschoshmapascha
Gandharva yaksha asura siddha sangha.
Gandharva
Vikshante tvam vishmita shaiva sarve.
Vikshante Tvam Vishmitasaiva Sarve.
So the Sanskrit is becoming a little stronger here. Okay, Gopal.
All the various manifestations of Lord Shiva, the Adityas, the Vasus, the Sadhyas, the Vishvedevas, the two Ashvis, the Marutas, the forefathers, the Gandharvas, the Yakshas, the Asuras, and the perfected demigods are beholding you in wonder.
What is Vishwadeva?
So there are all kinds of devatas, right? So they are devatas, upadevatas. There's a complete hierarchy mentioned in the scriptures of 330 crore devatas. So Vishwadevas are one class of devatas, right? Just like you have Punjabi, Gujarati, Bengali,
And did you,
Tamilian, Andhra, like that. No, there's a categories, different categories.
Prabhuji, so you're saying 330 crore devatas alone?
Yeah, sorry, not 330, 330 million, 33 crore devatas. Yeah,
Wow.
there's a lot of devatas, and all of them, they are afraid of Lord Krishna because they still have some material desires, right? If you go to heaven, on one side there'll be Ramba section, so there'll be Ramba will be dancing, and all the devatas will be drinking, you know, the Somaras, and they'll be enjoying. They have music, they have dance, they have nice food, and our bodies stink. In heaven, bodies have good fragrance, right? So they're able to enjoy more. Even if you want to enjoy here, you cannot enjoy much. By the time you watch 2 movies, you'll have a headache, right? So our enjoyment is limited. There it is much more. Again, you have to read all the scriptures to understand who all these devatas are. Or better thing is to just chant Hare Krishna and do a bypass. You bypass all the Devalokas and go directly to Krishna Loka. If you want, you can go to Devaloka, but that's not advisable because there's a lot of enjoyment. But then after the enjoyment is finished, you again come back, take birth again in the material world, in the planet Earth. Rupam mahate bahuvaktra netram.
Rupam mahate bahuvaktra netram.
Mahabaho bahubahurupadam.
Mahabaho
Bahurupadam.
Bahudaram bahudamstrakaralam.
Bahudamstrakaralam.
Drishtva lokaha pravyatitastataham.
Drishtva lokavyatitastataham.
Actually, we are going very slow. There are a lot of people in ISKCON who read chapter a day. It's called CHAD, C-H-A-D, chapter a day movement. Just like we have all kinds of movements, Black Lives Matter. There are movements in spirituality also. Some people will not eat sweet for a month. Like all Karthik, they'll say no sweets. I one time tried that, okay? You know, we all like to follow other senior leaders, right? So then around the 15th day, I went to somebody's home. There was a home-based program. And they offered sweet and I forgot and I ate the sweet. So you have to be careful with your vows. You may not eat at home, but somebody will feed you. So that's how it is. So I'll show you one Prabhuji in ISKCON. He is in Haryana. I think border of Punjab and Haryana. So what he does is he has already read the Bhagavad Gita 5,000 times. And we are struggling to read one time end to end. So this Prabhu is from ISKCON Salem. He is from Croatia and he does a lot of soul research, and also the Salem is in Tamil Nadu, by the way, not the Portland Salem. So ISKCON Salem, Tamil Nadu. From Croatia, he came on the order of his spiritual master. And he has a very nice series on ISKCON Salem website for the structure of the universe. He's considered one of the foremost authorities on that topic. And then this is, he's the gentleman who read 5,000 times Bhagavad Gita. He's an MBBS doctor and he used to have a clinic So one time he thought, okay, I will invite, this spiritual leader to my clinic. And so his spiritual master is my spiritual master also. So the spiritual master came, and at the entrance of the clinic, there was a board. This surgery so much, this surgery so much, Garbhapath, so many, 3,000 rupees. And then my spiritual master said, what's going on? You do abortions in your clinic? He said, yes. He said, I will not enter your clinic. He walked out. And then he said, why? Why is abortion bad? He said, abortion is jiva hatya, jiva himsa. So I cannot enter a place which is sinful. So at that point, he became a disciple of my spiritual master, left his medical practice, and he just travels around the world preaching. He has a base in Himalayas and he has a base in Haryana. So here is lecture.
ओम ज्ञानातिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमः ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। तो हम लोग ये काफ़ी टाइम से सोच रहे थे कि कोर्सेज शुरू करें जिससे डिवोटीज श्रील प्रभुपाद की किताबें या अन्य शास्त्र अच्छी तरह पढ़ पाएं और उनको पढ़कर अपने जीवन में उतार पाएं। सो वैसे तो कई कोर्सेज हैं, मगर हम भी क्यों कोर्सेज बना रहे हैं? उसके कई कारण हैं। सबसे पहला कारण तो ये है क्योंकि श्रील प्रभुपाद ने इस्कॉन कॉर्पोरेशन सर्टिफिकेट कॉर्पोरेशन सर्टिफिकेट प्रभुपाद ने जब इस्कॉन एस्टैब्लिश किया था तो जून 13, 1966 में, तो श्रील प्रभुपाद ने उसमें 7 पॉइंट लिखे थे और उसमें पहला पॉइंट मतलब इस्कॉन के फंक्शंस क्या हैं, और उसमें पहला पॉइंट था टू सिस्टमैटिकली propagate spiritual knowledge to society at large and to educate all people in the techniques of spiritual life in order to check imbalances in values and to achieve real unity and peace in the world. ये पहला पॉइंट था, या दूसरे शब्दों में कहने का मतलब है कि श्रील प्रभुपाद ने इस्कॉन की विजन जो रखी थी, एम था, बिल्डिंग्स नहीं थे या लोग नहीं थे, ये तो या पैसे नहीं थे। मेन पॉइंट था कि लोगों को एजुकेट किया जाए और कैसे सिस्टमैटिक फॉर्म से। सिस्टमैटिक का मतलब है क्रम से। क्रम का मतलब है एक स्टेप बाय स्टेप, या यूं समझ लीजिए जीवा गोस्वामी ने श्रीमद् भागवतम पे एक टीका लिखे क्रम संदर्भ, ये शब्द वहां पे आ रहा है, और अगर टीका पढ़ेंगे आपको पता लगेगा जीवा गोस्वामी ने लिखा है कि जीवा गोस्वामी ने श्रीमद् भागवतम का एक प्रभाव बताया है, सूत्र बताया है कि व्यासदेव क्या कहना।
So that is one. And the other one I keep sharing is, this is Gokul Chandra Prabhu, who is building a big temple in Salem, Tamil Nadu, under the guidance of my spiritual master as well. So let's see what he has to say. Why is it taking so long? So he did a course on so there are two Gokul Chandra Das. One is like a Mridanga player. So you'll see the Mridanga player come from time to time along with, so this is the Mridanga player. So there should be one on astronomy. Vedic astronomy maybe. Okay, next time I'll show it to you. Right now I cannot find it. What is Consalem? You will find it. He made something called Goloka chart, which is very, very famous. I have one of them in my Swami room, the altar. Where are lectures? They keep changing this thing. Devi Darshan, organic farming, Goshala, Gurukula, temple construction, Paravidyapita, festivals, darshan timings. If you go to Paravidyapita, will you find it? Japa seminar, Kambaramayanam. So this is one gentleman. He is from University of Washington. He was a professor, and he quit and he went and he now lives in Vrindavan. Very beautiful speaker. Of course, this is my spiritual master, Bhakti Vikas Swami. This is Srila Prabhupada's personal servant, Hari Shaura Prabhu. He also came to Seattle a few years ago. They don't come every day because they have to travel the entire world. And I met this Prabhuji Mahasanyasi Maharaj in Charlotte when I went along with Jaipal and Daniel to Charlotte. So this is the Vedic Goloka chart.
So, I introduce myself. My name is Gokul Chandra Das. I'm disciple of His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Swami. Stay in South India, preach there. And one of the important aspects in preaching in South India is to establish that Vishnu is supreme, Krishna is supreme, and demigods are neither equal, neither above him. So this is how we did research for this chart, to explain that Krishna is supreme, his powers are supreme, his abode is supreme, his name is supreme, everything about him is supreme. So then we did the research work and this chart came out. So I'd like to thank very much our valuable books supplied by many different devotees. Gopi Paranana Prabhu's translation of Brihad Bhagavatamrita, and then we have Kushakrata Prabhu's and Banu Maharaj's translation of Jiva Goswami's commentary on Brahma Samhita, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's commentary on Brahma Samhita. We have studied with His Holiness Danavar Maharaj within the universe, different realms, 14 planetary systems and happening within the material creation. So thanks to him also for that great experience and learning. And we are always thankful to our Guru Maharaj Bhakti Vikas Swami, who always inspire us to study Shastra and to preach according to Shastras. And ultimately we are all offering pranam and begging for blessing for Srila Prabhupada to remain in the line of parampara when we hear, when we speak, when we do things in life. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna. So, Srila Prabhupada does the worship. So, Krishna is worshipful and he is supreme, and that's the aim of all this seminar. So, we are going to discuss in 4 sessions, 1.5 hours each. First day, introduction and concept about spiritual world, creation, how it is created, why it is created, and then we'll discuss about Goloka, Krishna Loka itself. Tomorrow we'll continue with Krishna Loka and hopefully come through Mathura, Dwaraka, Puri, Navadvip, go to Ayodhya, then come to Vaikuntha. And then the third day we'll discuss Viraja, Karna, ocean creation itself, Mahavishnu's glance, Shambhu, appearance of Lord Shiva, Maya, Pradhana, Mahatattva, Karna, ocean, Adi demigods, all kinds of things related to creation. And the fourth day will go within material world. I mean, we are more or less, not today. Today we are sitting in Mayapur, which is equal to Shvetadvip. Navadvip has eternal abode in spiritual world. So we'll go through all creation and try to churn some nectar from Krishna's qualities, pastimes also, his energies, and of course, the focus on his abodes there. So, Lord Brahma, in Brahma Samhita, just 3 shlokas before famous Chintamani prayer, he did tepe, tapasya. Brahma, being desirous of satisfying Govinda, practiced the cultural acts for Krishna in Goloka, Lord of Shvetadvip, for a long time. He meditated. There exists divine lotus of thousands of petals, augmented by millions of filaments in the transcendental land of Goloka. On his wall, there exists a great divine throne on which is seated Sri Krishna, the form of eternal effulgence of transcendental bliss, playing on his divine flute, resonant with the divine sound with his lotus mouth. He is worshipped by his amorous milkmaids with their respective subjective portion and extension, and also by his external energy, who stays outside, embodying all mundane qualities.
So that's Gokul Chandra Prabhu who gives lectures. So there is a sequence of them, part 1, 2, 2.1, 3, 4. By the time you go through, especially Rajalakshmi, I know you asked last time, can I get more information? If you go through these 5 part seminar, so it will take you how much? 1, 2.5, say close to 3, 4 and 5, 6.5 hours. You'll be an expert in the spiritual world, how spiritual world is there. And he will do a much better job than I'm doing right now. So yeah, the knowledge is there. It's just a matter of whether you will, focus and get to this knowledge. And that's why I share all these things in my LinkedIn, so that a few lucky people can get it. The world is very big, 8 billion people, and there are only 2,000 people in my LinkedIn, and maybe 100 people read on a regular basis. Most of the time, I see that about 100 people are showing interest, not all 100 at once, maybe 20 at a time. So here is a quote from Swami Prabhupada: spiritual anxiety means you are advancing in spiritual life, and material anxiety means you are going downhill. So if you're always thinking, "Arey paise kaise kamana, I should earn more money," this, that, means you're going downhill. If you have spiritual anxiety, "Arey, I didn't finish my rounds, what is Krishna thinking of me? I'll cook some nice kheer for Krishna and feed him today," then you are going uphill. Otherwise, usually we are always going downhill only. So we have to pay close attention. If you don't focus, then you are going downhill. And this is a very beautiful thing. We are chanting Hare Krishna because of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. May the Supreme Lord, who is known as son of Srimati Sati Devi, may be transcendently situated in the innermost chambers of your heart. Resplendent means bright, with the radiance of molten gold. When the gold is bright already, but when it is melted, right, it becomes very, very beautiful. He has appeared in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no incarnation has ever offered before. There was Rama, Narsimha, Vamana. They all gave some mercy, but he is giving the highest mercy. And what is that mercy? Mellow means bhava, raga of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love, love of the gopis for Krishna. That's considered the highest love. So in this way, there is so much to be learned. So much, so much. So our philosophical pillars of the Vedic society are 4 in number. Ramanujacharya of Sri Sampradaya preached the philosophy of Dasya Rasa, servitude, being a servant, and Vishishta Advaita. Madhvacharya taught Dvaita philosophy. Dvaita means the two. God is separate, we are separate. Vishnu Swami of Rudra Sampradaya preached Shuddha Advaita philosophy. And Nimbarkacharya taught Dvaita Advaita philosophy. So all 4 took birth during Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time. They took rebirth. So that Sarva Avatara Sharasiromani, Kevala Ananda Kande. Following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's path is Kevala Ananda, means only Ananda. There is nothing else. And then material means dirty, spiritual means clean. So we have to clean the temple of Krishna. The more you decorate, more your heart becomes cleansed and you become spiritually decorated. Today I happened to go to the farm. Some Prabhus were cleaning up the farm, so I also joined. Just about maybe half an hour I helped them. They were doing from morning. Just a half an hour I helped. I felt so much bliss in the heart. Because when you do things for Krishna, the heart becomes pure. No matter, sometimes I work 10, 12 hours for my office, I don't feel any bliss. But even half an hour for Krishna was very, very blissful. Right? So in this way, I'm trying to, propagate this in line with what Keshavananda Prabhu quoted Srila Swami Prabhupada. 7 purposes of ISKCON. First purpose is educating others. Not only am I educating you, but I'm inspiring you to educate others. That is the goal. Because when you give knowledge, knowledge grows. When you spend money, money goes down. The opposite. But when you give out jnana, your jnana increases. So there is a book called Beginner's Guide to Krishna Consciousness by Bhakti Vikas Swami. In this it is described, why should one chant? Because it's recommended process. How can one chant? Using drums, kartalas, called kirtana. And if you just chant for yourself, this is called japa. Which mantra should we chant? Only one mantra. Of course. You can say Om Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Swaha, Swaha, Swaha. That's when you do the fire sacrifice. But when you're doing japa, it's the Hare Krishna mantra. That's it. No Swaha. Where is it recommended? In the Kali Santaran Upanishad and Brihad Narada Upanishad. In 2 places it says, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Iti Sodashak Namnam Kali Kalmasanasanam Nataha Parantopayaha Sarva Vedeshu Drishtate. Iti Shodaka Namnam. This 16, Shodaka means 16. Namnam means names. Kali Kalmasha Nashanam. Nashanam means destroyed. Kali means Kali Yuga. Kalmasha means all the bad qualities of Kali Yuga will be destroyed just by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. So now let's do some kirtan. Kirtan means I sing, you follow together. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everybody.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.
So questions. So I should title this slide as get out of material world instead of worrying about relative sin. Everything is a sin. क्या करेंगे? Everything is a sin. Just get out.
How do you get out, Prabhuji?
That's what my class is about, right? Every week I'm telling the same thing. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. Hear about Krishna, chant Krishna's names, remember Krishna in the heart. Done. SKS. Shravanam for S, Kirtanam for K, and Smaranam for S. Just do SKS and you'll get out. Guaranteed.
But still, at the old age, we come out, no, Prabhuji? Only when we are old, we can.
Sorry, what about old age?
We can come out only after we Vanaprastha and all that thing, kind of.
Yeah, that is the social order. But internally, you can be renounced today. Who's stopping you? Cook whatever your husband wants. Take care of your kids' education, whatever they want. Try to teach them a little bit about Krishna. But internally, you should be thinking about Krishna and getting out. And the right time comes, Krishna will arrange the situations. How he arranged for Swami Prabhupada? His wife was very much addicted to drinking tea. So Swami Prabhupada wrote one text on Srimad Bhagavatam. So she went to the old bookstore, she sold that book, and she used that money to drink tea. So Swami Prabhupada said, decide, do you want tea or me? She jokingly said, I want tea. Next day, Swami Prabhupada was out of the Grihastha. He went to Vrindavan and rest is history. Without him, we should thank his wife actually. Because if she said, I want you instead of tea, then we would not have ISKCON movement and all this knowledge that is floating around the world. So because she said, I want tea, then me means Prabhupada, he left the home. And so Krishna arranged in that way so that a pure devotee can come out of home and become a great preacher.
So must be very bold, Prabhuji.
Yeah, everything requires bold. You must be very bold to go to KFC with coronavirus. You must be very bold to cross the road. One day I was crossing the road in Hyderabad. Hyderabad is, it's like unbelievable traffic. One fellow almost hit me. I would have been dead, but I didn't. So you have to be bold even to cross the road. So be bold in going back to Krishna. You have to be bold, right? You have to be bold to be like Satya Nadella in Microsoft. He's making a lot of bold decisions in order to grow the company. Yeah. You have to be bold in doing anything. But internal, renunciation is first and external renunciation is later. Internally cultivate the feeling that I'm somehow or the other, I'm stuck in this material world. So Krishna, help me get out of this material world. He will arrange. He's amazing. Krishna is so amazing. Any other questions? So regulative principles, you cannot compromise. No compromise. And if you have a business like Disha Mataji, in business everybody cheats. All the way from Amazon, Microsoft. I know 10 years ago, Amazon was caught for not paying sales tax. It would take sales tax from you, but it would keep pocket it. It was not paying it to IRS. So IRS caught it and penalized it. So everybody cheats, believe it or not. In business, you cannot do business without cheating. That it's okay a little bit. But regulative principles, no compromise. You can lie a little bit on resume, it's okay. You're not killing anybody by lying, right? You're just impressing the boss so that he hires you, so that you can make a living.
Gambling means, Prabhuji, right now stock market and kind of thing, that is called gambling, or can say
Speculation, stock market. There's so many ways of philosophical, like that fellow, right? He puts his face on Vishwarupa and says he's God, right? So he's speculating. So he'll go to hell. He'll not go anywhere. And his disciples will also go to hell. Get it? Like that. So intoxication means alcohol, coffee, tea. See, my mother, she chants Hare Krishna. She chants quite a bit, actually, up to 16 rounds every day. But somehow or the other, she's unable to give up tea. Yeah, so she's not passing the test yet, right? This is physically and mentally. You should not eat meat mentally also. Illicit sex also, same thing, physically and mentally, you should avoid. It's very easy to have illicit sex mentally, right? It's called Manasika Vyabhichara. Manasika Vyabhichara, right? For example, why do young people go to movies? Because usually the heroine has wearing less clothes. So they are enjoying the heroine's body mentally. That is Manasika Vyabhichara. That's why in one guru in ISKCON, he says, if you watch movies, that's the fifth regulative principle. Don't watch movies and billboards. So this actually one Swamiji in India, the ISKCON guru, he says, no watching movies and billboards. In India, right? There is no regulation. In America, you cannot put a billboard. In India, you can put billboards everywhere with naked women, naked men, whatever. You can put whatever you want. So to go back to God is not so easy, madam. It is a tough thing. No watching movies, pornography. Some people watch that. Billboard. Yeah. All this will contaminate your mind. It is for your own good, actually. See, all these things will contaminate your mind and will prevent you from going back to spiritual world. Spiritual world is a pure place. There is no place for donkeys like us. So we have to stop being a donkey and start being a devotee. But we have one very good qualification. That is, we are following Swami Prabhupada. He has already given the distilled essence of the Vedas. You just have to follow. If you follow, you'll go back. If you don't follow, then you won't go back. Simple. Okay, any other questions? In general, life must be guided, right? So without guidance, your life will be a mess. Life must be guided through scripture and Guru. Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. Guru and Sadhu are interchangeable, right? So you may have one Guru, but 20 Sadhus that you're following. But those other Sadhus should also follow Shastra. If they don't follow Shastra and make up their own masala, like for example, Sadguru has diluted Bhagavad Gita to a certain extent that if you follow him, you will just feel good, but you will not get the real thing. The Sadguru with the long beard, right? He'll say, yeah, wake up at 4:30 in the morning. Very good advice. And he'll say, don't eat non-vegetarian. Very good advice. But in certain cases, he allows alcohol and things like that, At least that's what I hear. I don't know fully for a fact. So there are no certain cases. It's always you have to follow. So we have to qualify this by a parampara, by a Krishna parampara guru. It's not anybody. So ISKCON follows into that. Madhava Sampradaya to a certain extent falls into that. Ramanujacharya Sampradaya to a certain extent falls into that. Right? If you follow the right thing, then guaranteed going back to Godhead. But there are so many traps, right? The trap will be family member may prevent you from doing certain things. That's also a test of Maya Devi. Family members, parents, children. Sometimes parents want to be devotees, kids don't want to be. So they drag
That's
them
also Gaudiya Mat, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
Gaudiya
Gaudiya
Mat
Mat
says
is the
that.
same thing, right? Gaudiya Mat is a precursor to ISKCON. Gaudiya Mat was started by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswat Thakur, who is Prabhupada's guru. And there is Bhakti Vinod Thakur's disciples still, following his line. But as long as everything is connected to Krishna and is bona fide, like some people, they said, oh, you don't have to chant 16 rounds, you can chant 8 rounds, that's sufficient. No. Actually, original standard is 64 rounds a day. Prabhupada, because his Western disciples cannot follow, he gave relaxation to 16. Right? Now you cannot further say 16 to 8, 8 to 4, 4 to 2, and 2 to 1. That is nonsense. Yeah. Okay, we'll stop there. I'm tired. See you all next week.